News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A U of M student reports being raped over the weekend. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Tuesday, September 29th. 2015. It's going to be another beautiful day in western Montana, but it's starting crisp and cool. We have a clear sky and 36 degrees in Missoula right now. Our newscast this morning sponsored by Missoula Nissan Hyundai. Drive what you want affordably. Stop by Missoula Nissan Hyundai and find out how leasing may be your best deal on a new car. Our top story this morning, a female University of Montana student reported to authorities she had been raped over the weekend. Vice President for Integrated Communications at the U of M, Peggy Kaur, said the alleged assault occurred sometime between Saturday night and Sunday morning.
There was a report that a sexual assault occurred, and it was sometime overnight between Saturday and early Sunday morning. So the University Police Department did receive a report of that.
Kaur says there are mandated steps that are taken to assist a victim whenever a sexual assault is reported.
It did involve a student who reported the assault, and so at that point, our first effort is to make sure that whoever is reporting that assault gets the care and any health services that he or she needs.
Missoula police are investigating the assault that reportedly occurred on Keith Avenue, not far from the U of M campus. A jury selection was scheduled to begin in Billings yesterday in the case of a Great Falls man charged in the death of a Cascade County Sheriff's deputy in August of last year. The Great Falls Tribune newspaper reports about 100 potential jurors reported for jury selection yesterday in District Court in Yellowstone County. Adam Sanchez is charged in the death of 33-year-old Deputy Joseph Dunn during a law enforcement pursuit. The chase began in Great Falls and continued to Geyser before Sanchez turned around and was headed back to Great Falls when Dunn was struck. At the time, Sanchez was out on bond awaiting sentencing for true criminal endangerment charges stemming from a November 2013 chase. A plea agreement called for a probationary sentence, but Sanchez was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Two men accused of beating and strangling their girlfriends appeared in justice court yesterday. 34-year-old Jason Sanders is being held on $70,000 bond. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Celine Kepke addressed Judge Suzanne Geer.
The defendant struck her multiple times with different objects, including a quart-sized pan. He also tied her up and held a box cutter to her throat, Your Honor. The state is asking that should the defendant be released or otherwise post bond, we'd ask for no contact with the victim.
Also appearing yesterday, 33-year-old Michael Silva. Kepke explained the charges to Judge Geer.
The state believes that the defendant is a danger to the community. The defendant restrained the victim for almost an hour and wouldn't let her leave, and the victim claims that he choked her to the point that she blacked out on and off for almost an hour. The defendant admits that he restrained her and says he might have choked her during this event and admits that the victim was likely scared by being hurt.
Kepke asked for $30,000 bail. However, his bail was set at $5,000. The next court appearance for both men is October 14th. Higher speed limits and new sex offender requirements are among the 165 new laws that take effect on Thursday. Sexual and violent offenders will be required to provide all email addresses and social media screen names for the state registry. Montana will spend an estimated $13,000 to include that information in electronic records. Other changes include 80-mile-per-hour speed limits on most interstate mileage within Montana and newly required chickenpox vaccinations in public schools. A Good Samaritan law will shield people from minor in possession tickets if they seek medical treatment for themselves or others. Additional disclosure requirements will be imposed on corporations attempting to influence elections. October 1st is the effective date for many new laws because it's the start of a new federal budget year. An attack by a bear Sunday afternoon put a woman in the hospital, and authorities in the area west of Kalispell on high alert. Fish, Wildlife and Parks Region 1 Public Information Officer John Fraley has more.
It's very unfortunate. An elderly woman was attacked and injured near a residence Sunday afternoon, and we're investigating it. We don't know her immediate status. We know she was transported to Kalispell Regional Medical Center yesterday afternoon, and she is in the hospital at this time.
Officials were trying to track down and capture the bear yesterday.
We responded yesterday afternoon when we got the call. Also, the sheriff's deputy responded, and we mobilized it's called a wildlife response team, wildlife attack response team. So they're trying to capture the bear. There's several traps out there. Well, it's a rural area between Batavia and Ashley Lake, so it's really not an urban area. There's residences and so on, but it is very rural.
The name of the injured woman and details about what led to the attack have not yet been released. Idaho officials say a young male grizzly bear died after being struck by multiple vehicles on U.S. Highway 20 near the Idaho-Montana border. Officials say the bear died immediately in the collision at about 11 o'clock Sunday night as it tried to cross the road. The Fremont County Sheriff's Office says no humans sustained injuries. Idaho Fish and Game officials say the bear weighed about 200 pounds and had not previously been handled by biologists because it had no radio collar or markings. State officials say tissue and hair samples have been collected for DNA purposes and that a tooth was pulled for examination to determine a more accurate age. Funeral services are scheduled this Thursday for Gene Turnage, former Chief Justice of the Montana Supreme Court. Lloyd Turnage said his father died of natural causes Sunday morning at St. Luke Extended Care in Ronan. He was 89 years old. He is survived by his wife, Eula May, their children, Lloyd and Pat, along with 3 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. His funeral is scheduled for 1 p.m. Thursday at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Polson. Montana officials learned yesterday morning about the type of rabies found in a Missoula skunk. Montana Assistant State Veterinarian Tani Zemansky explains.
That sample from our diagnostic lab down in Bozeman was sent on to the CDC, where they looked at different characteristics of the actual rabies virus to determine the variant, and it was reported back this morning that rabies that we found in the Missoula skunk is consistent with a bat variant.
Somehow the skunk was either bitten by a rabid bat or ingested a bat with rabies. The news brought relief to animal control officials that were worried that the state's rabies management plans might need an overhaul.
Ultimately, it's good news. It's certainly the answer that we expected to get back. It falls in line, and it kind of confirms, how we've managed rabies. If we knew that the skunk variant was expanding kind of the territory that we were finding it in, I think we would have to make some modifications as far as management of rabies on that side of the Continental Divide.
Zemansky says the news won't change the quarantine rules for Missoula. The quarantine will remain in place just in case the bat rabies was spread by the skunk to other animals that could continue passing it on. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Grab the jackets again this morning as we will start out around freezing in the Missoula area. Working our way up to above average temperatures, though high is going to be in the middle 70s this afternoon with more warm weather tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Matt Gray for KCI 13.